My name is David Clarke. I was born in Oldham, Lancashire in 1949. Was educated and trained as a lecturer at Wolverhampton Polytechnic and graduated with a certificate in education awarded by Birmingham University in 1978. However, my earlier life had been rather different. My brother Michael and I were both convicted criminals and were sent to prison for malicious wounding and carrying a firearm without a licence. We grew up in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire during the 60s and were mods, but became criminals. On the 16th of January 1970, I had a bad trip on LSD, during which time I called out to God for help, and Jesus spoke to me. I learned to read to educate myself, and went on to higher education. And for the next 14 years, I read the Bible and a range of classical Christian literature. I then joined the Beaton Stricton Particular Baptist Church in 1976. I became a lecturer in electronics and church secretary and was called by the Lord and sent by the church to preach the gospel in 1982. Our Beaton Church became a gospel standard listed cause on the 16th of January 1981. My brother Michael was unaffected by my conversion and continued his flamboyant lifestyle. Due to errors in doctrine and practice, I felt compelled to withdraw from the Beaton Church and then wrote my first book, The Beaton Crisis, that explained the reason for my secession, and with a view to help others. In 1995, whilst delivering a lecture at Fareham College, I got news of my brother's arrest in the Philippines, which was told as ITN television news. I later learned of his imprisonment in the Philippines and then of his conversion from crime to Christ in 1999. This was 5 years into his 16-year prison sentence. I then published our story in my book, Converted on LSD Trip, and later a further edition called Beaton Stricton Particular Baptists. On hearing this news, I went on a preaching mission to the Philippines in order to bring relief and help to Michael. During this mission, Gordon Smith and I preached to hundreds of convicted criminals in New Bilibid Prison, the national penitentiary of the Philippines, including many on death row. We also preached in...
They're roasting a dog there. This is what they do when they're eating.
Provincial jails. I tell this part of our story in our joint book, Trojan Warriors, that contains 66 life-giving testimonies of some of the most notorious criminals in Asia's Far East, who too had become Christians and converted from crime to Christ whilst in New Bilibid Prison. I write of my ongoing mission work in my other publications, listed in the link below. Sadly, Michael died of tuberculosis in the prison before our vision of bringing help to many was realised. We worked to assist in the rehabilitation of any who realised their need.
Focuses on repair of social injury, justice that heals our mission to prisons. We'll have to look into that and see how it works. Okay. Yeah.
I'm currently working on a project of turning our story into a punk rock opera to be performed in the prisons of the UK. Quotation. And he was astonished, and all they that were with him, at the draught of fishes which they had taken. Luke chapter 5, verse 9.